we'll get the meeting started here, it's close enough. So, meeting September 20, 2023 will start. One, approve the minutes of the regular meeting August 16, 2023.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Okay,
Second that?
any discussion? All in favor? Okay, passed. And I need a motion to move to executive session in accordance with MSRA 4056E to discuss a legal matter.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Steve, you want to do a place?
And looking for a motion to go back into executive session in accordance with MSRA 4056C to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved.
Second with Mr. Bilodeau. All in favor? Okay, we are in executive session. Okay, we are out of executive session. We're going to move right to financial report update.
All right, I'm doing your financial report update. Billed meter revenue is up. That's a nice little change. Puts the budget revenue in a positive position to end the month, and that's good for us. September accounts payable will be high as many bond payments are due. That happens every fall. We pay all our bond payments.
Okay.
So, but we're doing good. Cash on hand has been increasing, so things are good. So,
Excellent, excellent. Does anybody have any questions? All right, we accept the financial report. Everybody good? Accept it? Okay. Ratify payment of
I
bills?
move to ratify the payment of bills.
I'll second that.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, all in favor? All right, public comment?
Yes, I have a couple of matters. I wanted to ask a question about something that Andy Titus brought up last meeting about the continuing incomplete performance by the American Development Corporation at Stable Ridge on some of the requirements that they were supposed to fulfill months ago, and they apparently had been held up by some software proceeding. It just seems like the district is kind of getting danced on this thing, and would suggest that since they're now building new buildings, that you might consider not doing any servicing toward the new buildings until their past obligations are complete. That's point one. The second matter I wanted to bring up is on the agenda. It's the drinking water program's approval of a new hydrogeological line along the Grace Lawn Road area. Mike will be speaking about that a little later in the agenda. I would urge that the board approve that line. The Lake Auburn Watershed Protection Commission approved it at its meeting last week. It's going to be on the Auburn Planning Board agenda on October 10, and I would encourage this board to approve that revised line, which has got some technical scientific basis behind it for the very first time in the whole history of where that line has been. And it's shown on this diagram here. You may see this plan. It's this line here, this light blue line. There are lots of lines on this diagram, but this is the drinking water program's line right here.
Well, that's somebody else's line that they're agreeing to.
No, that's the line they proposed. CDM Smith had proposed this line here, this dark blue line, back last October, and sent it the drinking water, well, this group through Mike and Kevin Gagne from Lewiston Water District sent that submission to the drinking water program and said, if we adopt this line, will that be acceptable to the drinking water program? The drinking water program came back in March with an entirely new line of their own initiation. Nobody asked them for that, but that's what they put out, and it's this line here, which the Protection Commission has now agreed to. CDM Smith agrees with it, and so it's being brought to this group and to the Auburn Planning Board shortly.
Thank you. Did you want to address?
So your first concern with the Stable Ridge, I did reach out to the owners, American Development Corporation. We're in the process. There are just a couple of small little things, and they're in progress. We should have what we need very soon, and we'll be able to officially transfer ownership over. So they will have satisfied everything in the original agreement to take over the ownership. We are waiting for a software transfer, and it's out of their hands. It's in the hands of the manufacturer. So they've paid for it, they've authorized it. It's, we just got to drag it out of them. They've agreed to do it. I've signed the affidavit saying I won't
Not out of the
sell it.
American, not out of the developers from the software
It's the
company.
software company.
So just to be clear, it's not the
understand.
developer that's
I
delaying.
understand.
The
Well-
second point, I don't think it really answered. We'll talk about that later in the agenda. So.
Okay, great, thank you. Activity report,
Activity report,
project update.
that's, yeah, not really much status quo there, not much to report. Project update, Hotel Road's been complete. Vernon Grove area, Blake Street, Rose Streets, our work has all but been complete. All we have to do is raise structures and gates. Second Street, Gendron has laid the main. It's installed, it's been acceptance tested, it's passed. They are now tying in the services. And East Side Taylor Pond, we are planning replacement of 2,500 feet of main. Notification for deactivation of seasonal main is going out to customers so that they are aware of that. And we plan on starting that October 16th.
Any questions? Anybody have any questions for the?
No, just one point on the project after you talk about the complex there. Stable Ridge, I just think that if we don't hear from them relatively soon, that we should just not connect anything else. We have to put pressure on them. I know it's not their problem, but it's not ours either. And I really think that they're building 60 new apartments, and if we get more going online without that, we gotta put some weight on, pressure on them somehow.
Fair enough.
Okay, water quality.
All right, water quality in the lake, things were looking pretty good. Right now is the most critical time. We need to keep our fingers crossed that the cold front comes through this weekend, continues to cool the lake down. Again, the rainfall has continued, the large rain events. We had another 3 inches of rain here the other day. The lake is at a higher temperature than it normally is this time of year. It hasn't cooled down as fast. It's just been hot late in the summer here. We didn't get the summer weather during the summer, we got it in the early fall. So it looks like it's gonna cool down next week, and I think we're gonna be okay, but right now is that most critical time of year. So far, knock on wood, we're okay right now, so. It's been a tough year there, though.
Okay. All right, and that brings us to
All right.
addressing the watershed boundary.
In your packets, there was a copy of the letter that the Water District and the City of Lewiston received back from the drinking water program. Basically, to summarize this very quickly, Mr. Veal said it during open session, the drinking water program will not challenge the findings of CDM Smith. And they are agreeing that what's being called the drinking water program potential boundary can now be the new watershed boundary as indicated in that light blue. This does not put us into a position where we can just accept that and adopt that. We need to take our map, our watershed map, which shows the watershed boundary, which is also the city's watershed overlay district. We need to amend that map, and I can't just draw where this blue dotted line is on that. It needs to be geo-referenced to match up to GIS. So I need actual GPS coordinates. I've requested that from CDM Smith. I'm expecting those this week or next week, and we will amend our map and we will bring it back to this board for adoption. I did caution the Watershed Commission, and I would do the same to the Planning Board, that while we've accepted this letter and we agree with it and we're happy of the findings, we have not adopted or made that change yet. Really, that power falls on the Auburn Water District in our charter to make that determination now that the drinking water program's agreed to it. So it's in process. I believe at this time next month in October, we could be in a position where we do that. In addition to receiving the letter from the drinking water program, pass around to all of you, I think you guys have grabbed it off the table. We did get a letter from the City of Lewiston. The City of Lewiston has written to us explaining that they are happy with this drinking water program letter, and they support this. They're willing to work with us on the amendment of the bylaws so that the Zone 1 protection areas, the description of those match the new watershed boundary. So that's a positive thing, so I definitely want that to be record. With that being said, we still need to amend that map so that we can adopt it. We need to potentially amend the bylaws so that we can adopt those. So there's still process to be done, and I expect that we'll have that all ready by October. So,
That's this letter.
correct. Yep.
That'll be in the minutes, or is that?
It's a matter of public record that we received it in the minutes. If anyone wants a copy of it, they can certainly request that.
That's
Thank
yours.
you. Thank you very much.
So yeah, that's what I have on that.
Okay, we are moving on. Lead assistant grant.
All right, so as you know, we received a drinking water SRF loan. It does come with a 55% principal forgiveness grant. We did put out to bid for a new Vector truck. We did get 3 bids. 2 of the bids did not meet the spec that we had outlined for a truck. 1 did. The price that was submitted does meet what we were approved for. We were approved for $650,000. The price for that truck came in at $626,939. I would ask the board that you approve that purchase so that we can move forward with securing that truck.
I'll make a motion to approve for the back
I'll
truck.
second his motion.
Okay, anybody have any questions? All in favor? Okay, and it's
All right,
approved.
thank you.
All right, we're measuring the lake.
All right, if any of you have not filled out your response letter yet, we are having the measuring of the lake. I need
Next
the
Thursday?
responses next Thursday, the
What time?
28th. It is from 5 to 7. Dinner will be served at 5:30. This is appreciation dinner for trustee service. Thank you all for your service. I do
I got
need
it.
this back by Friday. So yeah, you're good, you're good.
You're good.
Bob's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I had on that.
Okay. On to new business. UV plant, HVAC controllers.
We've had some, the UV plant, believe it or not, is now 11 years old. Some portions of the building are a little older than that. And unfortunately, the HVAC system in there is made up of every HVAC component is controlled by a controller. And the controllers that were used are no longer manufactured and you can no longer get a hold of them. Several of them have been failing over the years, but we've been able to rob controllers and put them at the critical points. We are no longer at a point where we can rob any controllers. The only controllers that we can purchase to put in there are used controllers, and the used ones we've put in have failed. We've secured a price to replace all those controllers. Unfortunately, it is not a cheap thing. It's $47,000. But you know, we have a state certified lab. We need to keep climate control into consideration. We have several electrical rooms that are air conditioned all winter long because the electrical gets so hot. We need
So
to keep
we-
it cool. So
And that's gonna be 50/50, right?
it just
Right, Dan? That's gonna be 50/50, not based on
It is.
apportionment, just so we know? Is that correct?
it is correct.
Okay. You guys heard that right? It's 50/50, not
Yeah.
based on apportionment. Okay.
Because of what,
Because it was easier that way.
well, it's because of the
That's what
writing
we were
of the
told.
agreement.
That's what it was easier just to agree that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Do you need our approval for that, or is that just
No,
a
it's
done?
something we had to do. We
Okay.
couldn't wait on it. They were failed, and we needed to get them going.
Right, Watershed Protection Commission, meeting rules, superintendent's ability to service clerk.
All right, so we brought this up for discussion, I believe, back early this spring. Right now, there are no clerks of the Watershed Protection Commission. We brought up the discussion of whether or not the superintendents of Lewiston and Auburn, or at least here at the Auburn Water District, would be eligible to serve as clerk. We put that on hold because the commission had not adopted rules or bylaws. They have now adopted meeting rules, and in those meeting rules, they have job descriptions for the clerks. One of the issues that had been in the past is that there was potential for conflict where the clerks were responsible for land acquisitions or negotiations. So that has been removed from the clerk's responsibilities. It is defined that the commissioners make those decisions, and that information is brought to the commissioners by the environmental manager or the watershed manager, which is Erica Kidd. So I'll leave it to the board. I do, my thought on it is, I do serve as secretary now. The secretary duties are gonna be passed upon to a commissioner themselves. They will be the secretary to sign off on the minutes that are drafted by the co-clerks. I think we do need to have equal representation there on that commission, but I'll leave it to you folks.
So just to clarify, there was no job description for the superintendent in the Auburn Water District. And the board, prior to my being here, I think the year before, they created a job description for the superintendent and included that you will be clerk of the commission.
Correct, as a job
As
responsibility.
a job responsibility. We didn't preclude the superintendent from being the clerk, we simply took it off of the job description as a requirement. And then everything else happened after that. But the superintendent was not precluded from being a clerk. So that's, as of right now, we don't have to approve, we don't have to add anything to anything, or we can give our blessing or not. But there's no job, there's nothing that precludes you from being, as of right now, as I understand, is that correct?
You're 100% correct.
Okay.
So,
Should it be compensated?
That's
So,
a good,
I would like to make a motion, because this is how the trustees can get the message across, that we allow our superintendent to serve as clerk, co-clerk, at the Lake Auburn Watershed Protection Commission, and that it'd be up to the clerk to bill his hours appropriately as he feels is needed.
so that's the motion, it's on the table.
so this is.
To have discussion, I need a second.
Oh, second. Yeah.
Okay, second from Jason, all right, discussion.
Bill to who? Bill to the commission.
To the commission.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, make sure that's on that motion, Diane, thanks. So bill to the commission as determined by the clerk, by the superintendent.
He knows what he needs to get to do the, if all of a sudden he gets a bunch of work, he can bill accordingly.
Okay, and what would be the rate? The rate based on what your
My rate?
your rate, yeah, okay. I got that. Anybody have a problem with that?
Nope, not at all.
Okay,
I have a question on this, where it says the job description.
but is this gonna do with the motion? That can we pass the motion and then you
Well,
answer
you
the
did an
question?
amendment. You had a motion, but the motion was amending the original question, you mean?
There was no other motion, there's just his motion.
Right, so he made a motion that we accept, we allow the superintendent to become the co-clerk, and also allow him to go. So if we vote on that, then we're done.
Right, are you amending that?
No, I had a question.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
No, I had a question.
That's why I was asking, does it have to do with his motion?
My question had to do with when it said general duties include. So does that mean it excludes specifically being involved in any negotiations or planning?
Well, it's not my responsibility if it's not listed there. So, yes, it's the responsibility of the environmental manager to gather preliminary information on land acquisitions.
Because I'm not talking about you, I'm saying in the future. If we wanted to make sure that in the future, a co-clerk could not do both, because that was the problem. We had
That
a
is the problem.
co-clerk that got involved in the negotiation, and that same co-clerk was an engineer who also could make the determination that whether it was billable or not.
Right,
And we didn't want the same person having those two
correct.
abilities. Now, it may not be-
They took that off.
Well, they took it as a responsibility, but is it still, according to this, is it something that could still happen?
It does, and they can replace some of these tapes, and we could change something again. I mean, that's what the trustees can do.
If we see this kind of activity again?
I'm fine with
Okay,
what,
but yeah, I know you had
Yeah.
the biggest argument, so I'll go along if you feel comfortable with it. I just want to make sure that
yeah.
we can
Is
do
that
it
for everyone else?
once.
I think we made it very clear that that's the intent, is that there's a separation between what the clerk does and what.
And that's been very clear on the commissioners. They understand that. I've said it, you didn't see me, I've said it, just so you know, there can't be a conflict.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, and if you guys are good, if you're good with that, Dan, I'm good with that.
I'll call a question.
All in favor? Okay. All right,
I gotta step out. You guys
Okay.
keep rolling.
yep. Thank you, Dan,
Sure.
appreciate it, yeah.
Captain?
All right, we're on to budget.
We can talk about the budget. at the next meeting when we present the first draft of the budget, we can move on from that. I know we're
Nothing
we're
of-
short of time.
That's okay,
Nothing-
we're, that was a big one, so if there's any highlights that you think that we need to address, then, oh, great, if not, that's okay.
I don't think there's anything to address right now. It was more of an FYI on a bunch of stuff, and it's in the meeting notes. If you have any questions about what I wanted to highlight, you just make sure you're prepared to discuss in October.
Okay,
So it's in the notes.
okay, terrific,
The meeting memo.
Today's, oh,
Yep, with the agenda.
okay. Then we're on the Vickery Water and Sewer Extensions.
Yep, so as you know, the city of Auburn actually paid to have a study done, feasibility study to extend both water and sewer out into New Auburn. All of those extensions had phases. Again, it wasn't one small extension, this was many miles of new water mains that may go as far as from South Main to Washington and beyond. One of the first phases would be Vickery. There's a bunch of properties on Vickery that are looking to be developed, including a parcel that the city currently owns. To develop those parcels and to get the densities that are desired on those parcels, water and sewer service is needed. Water would have to be extended south on Riverside Drive to Vickery, up Vickery, and then over to South Main Street to loop that around and provide fire protection and domestic needs for those potential developments. The city has applied for $5 million to extend the water and sewer within that first phase of that. And I just wanted to bring that to you as an FYI. I did go to the planning board meeting last Tuesday because there was a presentation from Wright and Pierce on this extension and the phasing of all the extensions. Again, just as an FYI to the planning board members so they can understand, you know, what's needed to get the water and sewer there. Again, I just wanted you, this is just an FYI so you're aware that this is out there. If this gets funded, certainly we'll be talking about main extension agreements and, you know, moving this project forward. On the water side, there would be one pressure reducing vault needed. It's not a big thing, but it's a station, it's a remote station. We currently have 3 PRV vaults in the city that we manage. This would just be a 4th one. Separates our high and low pressure zones. So we would need one of those on Vickery Road.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Good stuff. Okay, moving on, workers' compensation dividend.
All right, so in your packets, I did include, we did get dividend checks from the workers, our workers' comp insurance Maine Municipal. The sewer district got a little over $3,000 and the water district got about $2,500. In the past, for the past 5 years, we've been going to the boards and asking for a portion of that dividend to go towards employee appreciation. Is because of their efforts to work safely that we got this dividend. I had gone to the sewer board last night to ask for a portion of that money to do just that, and I'd also asked that rather than coming every year when we get a dividend check, that if we got a dividend check, we could then use that 30% of the dividend towards this same thing. So you don't have to every year have this on the agenda if you get it. Only if we get one, then we could use it. There was a friendly amendment by the trustees to use the entire dividend towards employee appreciation. So we usually have a lunch and we have gotten a small, you know, we got Yeti mugs that said, you know, working safely. You know, we did that one year. We got chairs. We've gotten different things over the last 5 years. So in addition to the lunch and the token, the rest of it would be divided up by the number of employees and given as a safety bonus. So that is what the sewer district ultimately wound up voting on, and that's what again, I'd like to be consistent, and if you guys are okay with that, then
I
we
make the motion that we
Do that.
Yep.
Do that.
same thing that the,
Second there. Anybody else have any questions? All in favor?
Who seconded that?
I did.
Jason. And it's, everyone voted in favor.
So they,
Oh, did you want?
I wanted to talk about it. Yeah. Just a little bit, I mean, so they're saying whatever it is, They wanna just give it back to the employees one way or the other.
That's.
If there's a
that's-
safety bonus.
If there's
Yeah.
a dividend, yeah.
The employees are the ones who work safe, and that's, we have this because they work safe.
Okay? I'd argue that management deserves something in the company as a whole, because it's not just the employee, it's everybody. But I don't know, if the idea that any and all of it goes to them year after year without having to vote on it, to me, it sounds like that's not necessarily a good idea either, but.
Well, it's up to your discretion.
Sure, I
right?
did it. but-
Yeah, I saw management as part of employees, so I wasn't seeing that as part of it. And I guess I would use some discretion if all of a sudden we got a $30,000 dividend one year. I think there should be a cap, you know, if it's higher than what it is this year, I think I would bring it back to the board.
But I don't think it needs to be a formal cap, like you're gonna use the discretion, we're gonna know about it.
Right.
I guess my concern is this is fine this year, but now going forward, that we don't have to vote on any future. It automatically goes to the employees regardless of what it is. I don't think it's a big deal for us to sit here and, we usually vote yes.
You have the last 5 years in a row.
I've never been against it,
Yeah.
but I would be against a blanket statement that says from going forward, any rebate money could be automatically distributed to the employees without us approval.
So you, Andy, you want us to.
You want to amend it,
Year
that
to
it's
year.
still, that we're still,
amend
I would
it.
amend it to
Or if
exclude
there's a
that
significant-
provision that says we don't have to vote on it
Okay.
every year.
That's
okay?
fine.
But that
So
means
we got an amendment to exclude that we don't have to vote on it every
that
year.
it needs to be voted on every year.
Right.
To
Exclude that we don't.
Right.
Right, so your amendment says it still needs to be voted on by the trustees every year.
Yeah, fine with that.
Second on that?
Yeah.
You second that? Any other discussion on that? All in favor of Andy's amendment? Okay, now the motion as amended. It's been seconded. Anybody else have anything else that they'd like to say on that? All in favor of the amended motion? And it passes.
All right, last thing I have for you, commissioner appointment. I do apologize, this is part of, you know, the problem of not having clerks. This did slip through the cracks. The Water District does appoint Auburn representatives to the Watershed Protection Commission. Evan Sears' seat on the commission did expire in August of this year. He did not take out papers to renew that. He does have a lot going on. He still has the opportunity to do that. I did get this posted at the city site, it's on our website. I'll hope any candidates that we have for that, I'll bring back to the next meeting that we
If you know
can.
anybody too, you know.
If you know anybody, you know, certainly,
Is there any Auburn resident?
any resident of the district, so yes, within Auburn. Yeah.
So, but you have to be in the district.
No, and I did get a definition from the attorneys, that means Auburn, resident of the
Okay.
district.
So
It could
any
be
resident of
Auburn or Poland, actually.
Any resident not restricted to water customers.
Right,
Correct.
and then they would, if they wanted to apply, they go on to the city of Auburn's website.
They could go on the
or
City of
Boards
Auburn's
Commissions?
website and the application's there, or they could go on our website. Either way, the applications come back to here so that
And what's
we,
the deadline?
this board makes the appointment.
Now?
Right now it's open.
So what's the deadline?
We're gonna hopefully appoint in October.
So,
So the deadline is next meeting.
Yeah.
well, somebody has to review those.
Well, if nobody fills out papers, we,
So we'll actually go over the applications in the
Correct,
next meeting. Okay,
correct.
great.
Can we, so no one will sit in that seat in the next meeting, or is there not the next one, we already had?
Technically, I don't believe Evan is eligible to vote because he did not get reappointed, he did not take out papers. So he did go to the last commission meeting and, you know, without going through legal, I don't think, I did ask Sue Clemens, she says, yeah, you know, he was expired. So,
And he just needs authorization until someone gets there, if he's willing to do it, why would we?
well, I don't think he was willing to do it. He
Oh,
didn't
he
take,
said
he didn't take
okay.
out papers and he said, I have a lot going on.
Okay,
and-
okay, I thought you
So-
said in the beginning intro that he was available, or something like that, like to that effect, but maybe it
No,
was
we gotta
Yeah,
find
no.
somebody.
not available.
We need to
Okay.
find someone.
Okay.
So I'll bring that back when I get applicants.
Trustee open session, anybody have anything? Okay, and motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor? Okay, we are adjourned, nice job.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, everybody else get these
Thank
in?
you both.
Thank you,
I
Mike.
did not
Thank you,
get-
Matt.
Welcome.
Bye.